Today we're going to be making tacos. And these are absolutely gorgeous tacos. I have a taco salad on top, and of course a gorgeous tostada here. That's chicken, and over here I've got a chicken and beef taco. Guys, this is a great set of recipes, and you're really going to enjoy the flavors. Howdy folks, welcome to Dallas, Texas. This is Texas Cooking Today. We are in Clyde Warren Park, and this is in the middle of downtown Dallas. There are cars and buses and trains and everything flying up underneath us. Right now we're on top of a freeway, actually, and that's where we built this park. Folks, this is Texas Cooking Today, and we're about to get in the kitchen and cook up some excellent food. Now this is one of my tutorials. If you're not into a video that has a lot of in-depth information on technique and methodology about a recipe, the previous episode to this one is just the recipe itself. Folks, thank you very much for watching. Let's get in the kitchen and get busy cooking this up. But first, let's take a quick look at this park. Those are good looking tacos, and believe me, they are delicious tacos. This is Mia's tacos. Now, let me start with who's Mia. Okay, Mia is a lady that I know at a 7-Eleven. She frequently checks me out. She runs the place, and she's efficient. Her store looks great. She's one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I would like to say thank you very much, Mia. You asked for tacos, and that's exactly what I'm going to give you. This is Mia's tacos, folks. So let's get into the ingredients. First thing that you want to know before we get started though is that this is going to be a mixture of flavors. We got some Tex-Mex flavor going on here. We also have some of that south of the border Mexican flavor hitting this. So you're going to have sort of a blending. It's going to be like a very rich tasting Tex-Mex style way of doing tacos. So we're going to be doing tacos and a tostada and maybe taco salad. There's going to be a lot of things going on here. And we're going to be doing both beef and chicken. So you're going to be getting a lot of recipes. You get a beef taco recipe, a chicken taco recipe, you're going to get a pico de gallo recipe, you're going to get a guacamole recipe, and you're going to get a recipe on my Lucky 7 chili con queso. It's a Lucky 7 cheese dip, guys. It is delicious. Now let's get into the ingredients and get started making this. Come on. All right, we're going to get on with making our tacos, but let me kind of introduce everything that we're using here. I've got some sirloin. I'm going to grind that, so that'll be a beautiful ground sirloin. I have 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I have some chipotle sauce, lime juice, paprika, cumin, oregano, and salt. Those are our flavorings. And then what we're going to be making the rest of this stuff with will be some cilantro, jalapenos, onions, some tomatoes, sweet peppers, avocado, green onions. Oh guys, this is going to be so good. And of course our cheeses. We have a pasteurized processed cheese back here, and we also have queso fresco. This is a Mexican fresh cheese. It crumbles easily and it is delicious for tacos. So we have our shells here. You can use taco shells, you can use the tostadas. Also, if you just want to use or do a salad, go with the crumbled chips on the bottom. There it is. We have beautiful ingredients. Let's get busy making the best tasting tacos ever. Doing this marinade is really simple enough. Let's take our lime, put it in there. Our chipotle sauce, the salt, the cumin, and the paprika. Good old paprika. Great flavors. And all you have to do is just zip that thing closed, give it a good shake. There we go. We have all of our ingredients well combined. I'm just going to push out any extra air that I happen to have. And now I'll put these in a bowl. In the bowl, all that does is just sort of concentrate the ingredients up and around those breasts. And I can put it in the fridge and give it time. Let's go ahead and just break this up. All you have to do is just kind of break it and squeeze it a little, and it'll break into smaller pieces really easy, guys. So this is what they call a crumbling cheese. You don't have to bother grating it because it's this easy to deal with. Queso fresco, if you look at this the right way, it's sort of like a compressed block of ricotta. In a way, it's very similar in its structure and basically in the fact that they are both fresh cheese. So, there we have it. It's time to get busy making our guacamole. I'm going to start by popping that stem off of there. Don't need it. To get into an avocado, simply slice down gently until your knife stops. That's the pit. Don't slice through the pit, just slice around it like I did right there. Then twist the two halves, just like so. There you go. Now your pit's going to come out on one half, and guys, this is where it gets tricky. You don't want to hit this hard because you don't want to slice through and into your hand, but you do want to use the edge of the blade to gently bury it into the pit and then twist, okay, like that. See there? And it comes right out on the blade. To get this off, just knock it off on the board or on the edge of your sink, like that, see? When it comes to working an avocado, all you have to do, you don't have to spoon it out, okay? You can peel it and you actually get all of the product out that way. Most of the time, you know. I say that and sure enough, right? So there we go. Sometimes, depending on how fresh it is, that skin will all come off in one piece. This one has a little age and a black spot, and I'm just going to remove that black spot. I don't like the unsightliness of it. All right, that's not hard, is it? There it is. Also, if you're ever wanting to slice your avocado, this is the best way to do it. You just turn it down on the board and make your slices. Works great. When it comes to mashing up avocados, I have found that fork works really, really well, guys. So just go at it and get them all mashed up good. Now, once I've just started my mash and just beginning and I'm not really deep into it, I want to go ahead and then get my other ingredients in there. And that way they just kind of get mixed in along with the mashing process. We need a little bit of salt. I'm going to need my lime juice. Right there's about a teaspoon, maybe a little more. And then my hot sauce. And on that, I gave it about a teaspoon, roughly. Now, just those ingredients get mashed together. Isn't that beautiful? That's your basic guacamole, and it is delicious. And there you have it, guys. A beautiful guacamole. That wasn't so difficult, was it? I'm going to be making the pico de gallo now. First thing I recommend, whenever you work with anything that's got capsaicin in it, go ahead and put gloves on. Now, it's not so much that your hands need protection. I mean, some people do because they have delicate skin on their hands. My hands are coarse and rough. They're the hands of a carpenter. But when it comes to this stuff, it's not so much what hits my hand. It's if I scratch under my eye or in some other sensitive location, suddenly that spot is burning, and that can be hours after the fact. Even if you scrub well using detergent, it's hard to get the capsaicin off of your skin. So just don't risk it. Go ahead and put on some cheapo gloves and then you're off and running, okay? Let me get some items out of my way. The first thing I'm going to start cutting is going to be that chili, all right? So I'm going to remove the stem, and I'm going to split them in half on each one. Here is the trick when it comes to removing heat from jalapenos. 90% of the capsaicin in any chili is going to be contained on those inner walls. In other words, this white flesh in here and that membrane which attaches the seeds are the hottest thing in that chili.
So all you have to do is take a spoon and just scrape down from one end to the other. And guess what? Boom, we just removed 90% of the heat from that chili. Our chilies have all been prepped out. There's a couple of seeds left here and there. Just get rid of those as needed. Something, when it comes to handling chilies, that some folks don't know is that cutting through the skin is kind of difficult. Some knives have a hard time with that, especially if they aren't really, really sharp. So if you would, turn that chili over with the skin side down and the flesh side up. And then your knife can then slice through it quite easily. See there? Isn't that nice? When you're cutting your chilies, please always remember, keep the fingers curved under and the thumb behind the fingers so that your knife edge will not contact the tips of your fingers, okay? That protects them. This knuckle right here allows the knife to glide on the side of it without cutting your fingers, okay? That becomes your cutting guide. Choke up on the blade, all right? Get a good grip. That right there is a perfect size piece for making pico de gallo, okay? Perfect little diced chilies. When it comes to cutting that onion, remove stem end first. There we go. First thing I want to do is remove the outer layer, which is kind of thin and papery, and I don't really want it. So it's coming off. Then I will slice it. Let's go ahead after we move that outer layer and just split that onion from the root end straight down to that cut end. All right, now what I've done there is given myself two easy to work halves, all right? I don't have to struggle with this onion now. To cut an onion, I want to make some cuts on the sides here. And cutting an onion, it's a three-dimensional item, so you have to do 3 different angles of cuts. All right, so the first one is going to be up to that root. Now sometimes if your blade binds on going into an onion like that, like what I just did, if you would, simply take your blade and twist it sideways like that, and that will release the grip that that onion has on your blade at the moment, okay? So remember that neat little technique, that little twist. Like right there, it's kind of tight. All I have to do is just twist my blade, rotating the handle like this, see? And suddenly it releases that suction on it. Now, some blades have what they call a Granton edge, which are little relief cuts, and those help also. There we go. Releases that blade easy. Now you can see the cut line coming around this way. See, as I pull it back, what I want to do, I want to avoid hitting that cut line. I want to make one downward cut, losing a couple pieces, and just keep doing that all the way across in the width that I want my dice to be. And then once I make my cross cuts, I get very even cuts. Now here, take a look at this. And that's the whole idea, is you want uniform, even pieces, guys. And that's what this really gives you, is this cutting technique gives you the best of that. And it also gives you very little waste. We also need to get those tomatoes sliced up. Ooh, those little gems want to roll around on me. Okay, so all I'm going to do on these pretty little tomatoes is just, as I mentioned earlier, make some cross cuts. Now, because as you've seen there, it can splatter, your knife's going to need to be sharp. You're going to need to make slicing motion rather than pressing down. Let's go ahead and get some cilantro. I'm just going to tear some off of my bunch, just like so. I'm going to take my knife and work my way across it. There we go. It's about 1/3 of a cup. Excellent. Now I just need my other ingredients and get this stirred together. Now we get to finish this off. A little bit of salt over the top. There we go. Our lime juice. Oh yes. Let's just get all that mixed together. for a magnificent pico de gallo that's perfect for anybody's tacos. Oh, that's a good looking one. There you have it, guys. Your pico de gallo is ready to be put in the fridge for holding for later on. Now we are at our final items to cut up. We just need some sliced green onion. There we go. I like to get that all mixed together real well so you get a little of the green part and a little of the white part together. On these, what I like to do here is to be able to do a beautiful presentation. So sometimes I will simply make very neat, orderly slices. Today my knife is sticking. And this allows me to keep the appearance of my chili intact, which is kind of a neat way to display things if you wish to do that. Okay? In this case, we're just going to make some rings. Oh, that'll be so good on those tacos.
Now folks, what we're actually doing here is what is called the garde-manger work. That's what the French would refer to this as. And the garde-manger work is all the cold prep. It's the cutting and slicing and getting everything ready and then doing cold preparations, you know, like the guacamole and the pico de gallo. Those are cold preps. And we do this because it speeds up cooking on the whole and it allows better quality cooking because you can focus when it comes to doing the heat projects. So we take care of all of our garde-manger work and we get what we call mise en place. And that's another French term. It means everything in its place. So we want it all ready, chopped up and ready to go, and that way when it comes time to make, we are ready to cook.
There we have it. All of our ingredients are all set up. We have beautiful diced onion, our 7 diced chilies, and that's about 2 parts chili to 1 part onion at that point. And then we have 1 pound of that cheese and paprika, salt. On the paprika, about 1/2 teaspoon, and on that salt, about 1/2 teaspoon also. Guys, I'm going to slice up my meat now, and I'm going to put it in my grinder. And I use a grinder that sits on the end of my mixer. So it's that little guy right there. Now, something I need to mention, when you're going to use one of these, don't ever point this nozzle right here at you, because these things spit. I mean, they'll shoot juice out of them really fast, and if you're in front of it, you're the one that's going to get hit by it. So don't stand in front of it. Turn it sideways to where you're at, and that way if it does spit, it won't be at you. Now I'm going to slice up that steak, and I'm going to feed it into my grinder and have a beautiful ground beef. If you're wondering why I go through this trouble on my meat, well, it's really simple, guys. I like to have really fine quality products when I'm eating. I don't want to have some ground beef and they're telling me that it's sirloin, but I don't really know it's sirloin because I didn't see what was ground. This, I could see the shape of the meat and I knew it was a gut of top sirloin. So it's just that simple. And this way also, if I want to remove the extra fat that's on this, I can do that and make it an extra lean top sirloin. Or I can leave the fat in there and add enhanced flavor to my overall ground beef, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Here we go. There it is, guys. You saw that in real time, what it takes to do ground beef. It doesn't take very long. And the quality of this, you can, the minute you touch it, the very instant you feel the softer quality in this kind of grind. It's more subtle, and you realize that what you're getting at the store is something different than what you would make at home. And this is better, definitely better quality product. So now I'm just going to measure out, get my scale out and measure out 1 pound of that beef. I'm getting a little bit of oil down here on my onion. You can use any kind of cooking oil you want for this, guys. I'm just using peanut oil. Sometimes I do this with olive oil. It just depends on my mood. Now I'm putting this over a medium flame. I don't want too much heat. What I'm looking to do is I'm looking to sweat my onions. And I'm going to sweat those onions for 7 minutes. Occasionally, as you're sweating this, give it a stir, okay? You don't want any of it burning. Make sure you keep your flame to a medium or medium-low. Both should work well for this. All we're doing is just softening that onion and cooking out some of its flavor. It has been 7 minutes now. I'm starting to get just a slight amount of brown on those edges, but nothing to be in any way concerned about. That's just flavor. After I get those peppers in there, I want to go ahead and add my spices. Our paprika. We'll add a little more oil. Not much, just a little. There we go. Give it all a good stir. Now what I'm going to do is sweat those together for another 7 minutes. As my chilies and onions are sweating together, I'm just going to go ahead and get this sliced up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quarter it lengthwise. How convenient is that? And then I'm just going to make little 1/2-inch slices. There we go. That way, as I put them in the pot, they break into these little square pieces that then melt in quite easily. Just as with the onions, we want to make sure that every couple of minutes you stir these. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? It's been another 7 minutes. So what I've done is I've sweat my vegetables down. Isn't that beautiful? Next thing, I just need to get my cheese in there. Now, cheese is somewhat sticky. If you want to use a spoon, do it. I just use my hand. And all I have to do is give it enough time for that cheese to melt. And I find, just, you know, it depends on the brand of the maker, but I find usually that's going to be around 7, sometimes 8 minutes. And once the cheese melted, guess what? It's finished. It's ready to eat. Now make sure when you get that cheese in there, you stir it frequently, guys, and you might also want to lower your heat to a medium-low and keep it no higher than that. Remember, stirring frequently, if not constantly. Thing of it is your cheese will burn on the bottom easily. And what I'm looking for is for these lumps of cheese that haven't melted fully yet to finish. And as soon as they're done melting, that means I'm going to put the lid on it, set it aside, and I can start making my tacos. All of the preparations are made at that point. Okay, we've gone through several processes now. We've made some guacamole, we've made a pico de gallo, those very base recipes, very simple. You can add to them if you want to make like the guacamole a dip. You can put some other stuff in there like some diced onion or shallots. You can also put tomatoes in there. There's neat ways to fix it up for a dip. But we're using it in a different way as an addition to a taco. So I wanted it to be very basic. In the same way on that pico de gallo, also the same way on this cheese that I just made. Oh, can't wait to put that on a salad or just about anything else. That stuff is delicious. So what I need to do now, we're going to be cooking the chicken up. The chicken is going to be 8 minutes on each side, okay? And that's going to be over a medium heat. I put a little oil in the pan first, And then after the 8 minutes on the first side, I'll fire up my second pan for my beef. We'll put that in there and get it seasoned up and get it cooked up just right also. And that'll be cooked up over a medium-high heat. So real easy to do. Once those are cooked, it's time for dinner. Okay? That's all there is to it. Let's get into cooking this meat now. Come on. All right, we have chicken ready. I want to heat this pan up. And I want that over a medium-high heat. So I'm going to get a little oil in my pan. Now, guys, I do this because it makes cleanup a little easier. The marinade, once it cooks down, it's going to form a fond in the bottom of the pan. And basically, that's just a caramelized coating in the bottom of the pan where it browns a little bit and it sticks. And that brings out a lot of flavor in the chicken in a little bit. But we want it to also clean off easy later on. So if I put a little oil in there, that's resolved. This doesn't have to heat up, okay? You don't have to have like a sear or anything like that. What we are doing here is essentially we're poaching 2 chicken breasts. And we're going to poach it in the marinade that we made for them. It's time. That's going to be 8 minutes on that side, and then we're going to do another 8 minutes on the other side. My timer has just gone off, so I'm turning my breasts over. Remember, there's no rush on this cook. These take, as I mentioned, about 8 minutes per side. The next thing I need to do, though, is turn my attention to this over here. I have my hamburger, I have my pan that's heating also, so I want to give this just a moment to let it heat. There's no rush, I just don't want to start with a cold pan. Let's get some oil in the bottom here. Oh yes, there it is. My meat. Once I get my meat in here, I want to go ahead and apply all of my spices. There we go. Get that cumin. All of the flavors that I'm using here, all of these spices and the herb, the oregano, these are all very common flavors in Mexican cuisine and in Tex-Mex cuisine. Okay, here's the secret to doing good beef for taco meat. It doesn't take a long cook. It's just like cooking a hamburger. I mean, if you cook a hamburger for 30 minutes, the thing's going to be ruined. It'll be all dried out. This stuff is the same way. As soon as there's no more pink, as soon as it's cooked all the way through, that's when it's done. There's our timer talking to us, telling us that I'm 5 minutes away on my chicken breasts. This is about finished. Look at that, nice and moist, beautiful, well seasoned, fully cooked. This is what you're looking for when you're wanting some really top quality taco meat. Right there, guys. Let's slice up those beautiful little breasts. Now, one thing I can do is if I want, I can butterfly this breast. If you'd like to do that, or something I wanted to do here, we'll show you. Look how juicy this is inside. If you think that long cook was going to dry it out, when you poach it like that, no, it's extra juicy, guys. So don't be afraid of that, okay? Look how that's coming apart too. Now I'm going to take this meat and we'll put it right back in the pan that I cooked it in, because I'm going to roll that meat in the fond. The extra juices from the chicken are going to release the fond on the bottom of the pan, and it's going to add extra flavor to each piece of that chicken. If you don't want your pieces that long, reduce them. It's not that hard. roll it in there and see how it's breaking that fond loose. There we go. Our chicken is ready to go. It's finished. There we are, folks. Wasn't that easy? Now, on all of these recipes, so you'll know our ingredients. The beef, we started with 1 pound of ground sirloin, and to that, for flavoring, I added 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of salt. For our chicken breast, the marinade on that is going to be 1/3 cup of lime juice, 3 to 4 tablespoons of chipotle sauce, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt. So that's a beautiful tasting marinade for those. Now when it comes to our other dishes that we're going to make my Lucky 7 queso dip, and that's going to be using a processed cheese. This is pasteurized processed cheese. And to that we're going to be using 7 jalapenos. Yeah, you heard me, 7. A medium onion. When it comes to our pico de gallo, we're going to need some jalapenos, and that's 4 jalapenos to 2 Roma tomatoes, or an equivalent amount of some other tomato, like these grape tomatoes. A good choice for this because it gives it a unique shape. Also, we're going to be using an onion in that, and about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of chopped cilantro. We're also going to be using cilantro, onions, and these sweet peppers sliced as toppings for our tacos. And the guacamole is simple enough. It's a base model guacamole, very basic, and which is perfect for adding ingredients to other things. You don't want too much chunkiness to this dip when you're going to be using it on something like this. So avocado, and then with that we're going to be using a bit of our lime juice and the hot sauce. Now I won't be using this hot sauce, I'll be using a different one. Either way, a few drops of that, and then also some salt, anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt for that avocado dip. Very simple recipes and a lot of different ingredients, but guys, when they're brought together the right way for a fantastic recipe like this, man, you just can't go wrong. These are fantastic recipes and you deserve to enjoy them. Well guys, here we are. It's at the assembly point. Everything's all made, it's all laid out, and if you want to be cool about it, just turn it into a buffet for the family and let everybody fix theirs their way. But mine, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these wonderful little goodies. Well, it's time for us to make our goodies here. And I'm going to start with my tostada and put a little guacamole on there. After I get that on, I like to top it with my meat. This one is going to be the chicken. Now, once we get the chicken put on there, we need other toppings, like some pico de gallo. Nothing like a little pico to make it tasty. Also, some cilantro. Even though I did put some in the pico, I want more. And cheese. I'll tell you what, a taco and a tostada just isn't right without the cheese. How about some onion and some little beautiful peppers? We need some of those sweet peppers dotted all over the top. So let's get some of that up on there. Make it nice and pretty. The color is wonderful. Beef taco, you better believe it, I love beef tacos. And I'm going to do it the same way I did my chicken taco. So we're going to get 2 of these, 1 of each, and I'm going to fix it up with a pico, and of course with my other goodies, a little bit of cilantro and some cheese. Nothing like topping it with cheese. Now that queso fresco is really cool stuff. It gives a smooth, light flavor. It's not a British cheese, and it gives you a very Mexican, or as you would say, south of the border kind of flavor. So I really think it's worth using. Use that queso fresco. Give it a try, folks. It's worth having, and you're going to like it. Now, what do we do with this? How about a bit of lettuce? Need some lettuce for your taco salad. And a taco salad, you build it just like a taco. So next, let's put some beef up on there. You betcha. Oh man, that is delicious right there. And it needs cheese, just like the other ones. But this time I need something that's
flows a little better. So we're going to use that chili con queso. Nothing like my Lucky 7 to make a salad good and tasty. Folks, these are delicious tacos. I'm sure you're going to love them. Wait till you taste this.
There we have it. 3 gorgeous dishes. Okay, Mia, there you have it. Mia's tacos right there, ladies and gentlemen. Taco salad, tostada, and a couple of beautiful tacos back there. There it is, folks. You didn't expect a whole series of recipes, did you? It's a fantastic setup, and once you've made this, once you've had tacos made this way, you'll never go back. I have to admit, I love it when it's on a flat like this. This harmony of flavor, and it's not boring little tacos. These are special tacos, flavors that explode in them, made just right, seasoned just right. It's everything good tacos should be. Guys, I'm really going to be enjoying these in a moment. In fact, I want to devour them. If you would, please enjoy these recipes, and thank you so much for watching Texas Cooking Today, for watching this episode. To my subscribers, guys, you are wonderful. Thank you very much. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. And also, click that like button, drop some comments below, and just like Mia, who knows, you may get your recipe made right here on Texas Cooking Today. Sometimes my takes on recipes are not what you expect. They aren't the same as everyone else's. Folks, thank you very much, and you have a good day. Bye-bye. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that's everything that I can show you on that recipe. Wasn't that fantastic? Thank you very much for watching Texas Cooking Today, for watching this episode. If you would, please take a look at my channel. Lots of good recipes there, lots of good tutorials. And also, if you have any questions or comments, or if you have a request, believe it or not, I fulfill a lot of people's requests. So please type that out in the comments and I'll get to it, I promise you. Folks, thank you very much for watching again. And if you would, please have a good day. Bye-bye.